Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at practice set number 2 for the headings question. This example comes from the Cambridge IELTS book number 8, test number 2. This is reading passage number 3. Here we have questions from 27 to 32, a total of 6 questions, and we have 6 paragraphs from A through F. Here are the answer choices, and here are the questions. So let us come down to our reading passage. This reading passage is on the meaning and power of smell. So we're going to start off by first answering the question that has the shortest paragraph. So let's take a look. Here we have paragraph A. B looks pretty short. C is pretty short. D is also pretty short. And then these two are a little bit larger. So let us start here with, we'll start with paragraph D. That seems to be the shortest of them all. So here the first sentence reads, smell, however, is a highly elusive phenomenon. Odors, unlike colors, for instance, cannot be named in many languages because the specific vocabulary simply doesn't exist. So elusive means something that cannot be captured, something that is difficult to grasp. So here it's talking about how smell is not so easy to grasp and it's not so easy to talk about because the vocabulary doesn't exist. So the gist of this entire paragraph is this part over here. Smell is a highly elusive phenomenon. Highly elusive meaning it is difficult to talk about. So let's look at our answer choices. Right away, we see that the first answer choice talks about the difficulties of talking about smells. That is synonym language for saying that smell is highly elusive. We don't have the vocabulary to talk about it, so it's difficult to talk about smells. So that is going to be the answer for paragraph D, number 30. Let me just confirm that was in fact paragraph D. So the answer to question number 30 is going to be the Roman numeral 1. Let's just confirm, let's just go through the rest of our answer choices just to make sure that this is in fact our answer choice. It says nothing about personal relationships, nothing about studies, nothing about the brain, nothing about groups, nothing about why smell is not appreciated, why smell is a superior sense, and nothing about smell and feelings. So that is in fact the correct answer choice. So let us go ahead and put that as our answer choice for question number 30. And this is something that you may choose to do or not do depending on your preference. Personally, I like to cross these out. So you can do that if you want. Let us move on to the next shortest paragraph, paragraph C. The first sentence in this paragraph reads, in spite of its importance to our emotional and sensory lives, smell is probably the most undervalued sense in many cultures. The reason often given for the low regard in which smell is held is that, in comparison with its importance among animals, the human sense of smell is feeble and undeveloped. Okay, so it's undeveloped. Feeble means weak. So this whole paragraph is talking about why smell is the most undervalued. Okay, why is it the most undervalued? Let's just move that here. Why is it the most undervalued sense in many cultures? So that's what this entire paragraph is talking about. So let us come up to our answer choices. Let's see if we can find that. Here we go. Why our sense of smell is not appreciated. That is synonym language for why it is undervalued. Why is it undervalued? Okay, and then here it's talking about the reasons why we don't hold the sense of smell in very high regard. It's talking about the reasons for that. So the correct answer for paragraph C for question number 29 is going to be the Roman numeral 6. I'm going to put a cross across it, a line across it, and then let us put that as our answer choice for paragraph C. We have number 6. Great. Notice that so far, I haven't really had the need to read the last sentence of the paragraph. So most of the times, you won't have to read the final sentence in the paragraph. The first 2 sentences are going to be enough. So be sure to read the first and the second sentence in a paragraph, and if you still don't find the answer, then go ahead and read the last sentence of the paragraph. So let us move on to our next shortest paragraph. So the rest of these paragraphs seem to be pretty much the same size. So maybe we'll start here. B looks perhaps a little bit shorter. Maybe we'll start there. So paragraph B is talking about how odors are also essential cues in social bonding. So this is really going to talk about the role of smell, the role of odors in social bonding. So that's what this entire paragraph is going to be about. Let's read the second sentence. One respondent to the survey believed that there is no true emotional bonding without touching and smelling a loved one. So it's talking about the importance of smell in relationships, social bonding. Let's look at our answer choices. Here we have it. The role of smell in personal relationships. There's no other answer choice that talks about that. There's no other answer choice that talks about the role of smell, the importance of odors in personal relationships, in social bonding. Okay? So that is going to be the answer to paragraph B. You might notice, now here's the thing guys, you might notice that here the answer choice number 5 says the interpretation of smells as a factor in defining groups. Now groups can be synonym language for a social group, like it could be talking about social bonding, right? Groups are social structures. So it's possible that this could be the answer choice, but paragraph B is mainly focused on bonding in personal relationships. They're talking about loved ones, okay? Here it's really talking about social bonding in the context of touching and smelling a loved one. So we're not just talking about any group, really we're talking about personal relationships, intimate relationships, family, and maybe friends. So that's why number 2 is going to be the correct answer choice. If you're not sure, if you think that you're not sure if the correct answer choice is number 2 or number 5, you can always just come down here and read the last sentence in the paragraph and figure out with certainty what is the correct answer. So let's just go ahead and do that. The last sentence here reads, most of the subjects would probably never have given much thought to odor as a cue for identifying family members. Okay, again, personal relationships, family members, before being involved in the test. But as the experiment revealed, even when not consciously considered, smells register. Okay, so we're talking about social bonding in the context of personal relationships, family relationships. So the correct answer for paragraph B is going to be answer choice number 2. Let us put a line across it since we've already used that one. And now I think the rest of our paragraphs are pretty much all the same length. Paragraph A, E, and F are pretty much all the same length. So we can start anywhere. Maybe I'll start with E. It does seem that E is a little bit shorter, so maybe I'll start there. So here we go. Most of the research on smell undertaken to date has been of a physical, scientific nature. So here it's talking about the research. It's talking about the research that has been conducted on the nature of smell. Significant advances have been made in the understanding of the biological and chemical nature of olfaction. Olfaction is just a fancy word which means something related to smell. Okay? So, olfaction, but many fundamental questions have yet to be answered. So it's talking about research, and it's talking about how there are still unanswered questions. There are still questions that need to be answered by researchers. So this whole paragraph is focused on research. It's talking about what research has discovered so far, and it's also talking about the limitations of research. It's talking about the advances that have been made in the research regarding olfaction, regarding smell, and it's talking about the fundamental questions that have yet to be answered. Okay? There are things about our sense of smell that have yet to be discovered. So let's see which one talks about research. Here we see future studies into smell. Okay, so studies is synonym language for research. So that is very likely our answer. Let me just go through the rest of these answer choices just to be sure. Here is talking about the relationship between the brain and the nose, says nothing about that. Interpretation of smells for defining groups, says nothing about groups. Says nothing about why smell is a superior sense, and it says nothing about the relationship between smell and feelings. So the correct answer choice is going to be number 3. If you're not sure, you can also come down and read the last sentence. Here it says, questions like these mean that interest in the psychology of smell is inevitably set to play an increasingly important role for researchers. So it's saying that there are questions that we have to answer, and these questions are going to result in more research in the future. That's what it's really saying, that in the future, these questions are going to play an increasingly important role for researchers because we don't have the answers to these questions. So in the future, we're going to be doing more studies, more research. So that is the only answer choice which fits for this paragraph. So the correct answer is going to be number 3. So that was paragraph E. The correct answer is number 3. I'm going to come up here and put a line across it since I've already used that answer choice. And let us move on to our other remaining questions. So paragraph A and paragraph F, they're pretty much the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm just going to start with paragraph A. So here we go. A survey conducted by Anthony Sinet, I think that's how it's said, I'm not sure, at Montreal's Concordia University asked participants to comment on how important smell was to them in their lives. Okay, so it's going to be talking about the importance of smell. How important is smell to people in their lives? That's what this entire paragraph is going to talk about. So guys, this is a very important skill. Being able to read the topic sentence and being able to identify that part in the topic sentence which tells you what the whole paragraph is going to talk about. Because if you can figure this out, then you have basically figured out the gist of the entire paragraph. So that's why I'm underlining these parts over here in the blue color for each one of these paragraphs, so that you can learn to identify that portion in the topic sentence that tells you what the whole paragraph is going to talk about. Okay, so I want you to work on this when you go and start to practice these questions on your own. Practice identifying this part that gives away the gist of the paragraph, okay? So this paragraph is going to talk about the importance of smell to people in their lives. Here is our second sentence. It became apparent that smell can evoke strong emotional responses. Okay, so it's talking about the importance of smell in relation to the emotional responses. So it's talking about why smell is important to people. Well, it seems to be talking about the fact that smell can evoke strong emotional responses, and that's why it's important to people in their lives. So that's what that whole paragraph is about. Let's look at the answer choices. The relationship between the brain and the nose. No, it doesn't really mention the brain. It's talking more about the emotion. Interpretation of smell in defining groups. Nope, nothing about that. Says nothing about smell being a superior sense. The relationship between smell and feelings. There we go. Emotions is synonym language for feelings. And it's talking about how smell can evoke strong emotional responses. It can evoke strong feelings. So really, we're talking about the relationship between smell and emotions. So that is the correct answer for paragraph A. Great. Now we only have one final paragraph left, number F. Let's go ahead and read our first sentence. However, smell is not simply a biological and psychological phenomenon. Smell is cultural, hence it is a social and historical phenomenon. So this paragraph seems to talk about the importance of the cultural aspect and the importance of the social aspect. That's what this whole paragraph is focused on. It's talking about how smell is not just a biological and a psychological phenomenon. It's more than that. It's about the culture and it's about the social aspects. So this whole paragraph is going to talk about culture and the role of smell in the social context. So let's see which answer choice is the best match. Okay, it says nothing about the brain. It says here the interpretation of smells as a factor in defining groups. What is culture, guys? What is culture? A culture is a group of people, right? It's a group of people who share certain things in common. So when a bunch of people come together, when a group comes together, and when the group gets large enough, it turns into a culture. So it seems that this may be our answer. Let's just confirm. Here is talking about smell being a superior sense. So that's not the answer. And we've already used this answer choice. So that's not the answer either. So the only correct answer choice that we have left here now is this one over here. Number 5. It's talking about the importance of smell in a social context, in a cultural context, in defining groups. That is synonym language. So the correct answer here for paragraph F is going to be number 5. So there you go. Those are all of our answers. I hope that you have a better understanding of how to answer these questions now. This question is all about understanding the meaning and understanding the synonym language. If you can do that, you're going to perform very well on this question. In the next video, we'll talk about how to answer the next and the final type of question. So I'll see you there.